Welcome back to the program. You're still watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Let's talk about a particular development that has got a lot of people concerned, especially the Nigeria Union of Road Transport Workers, the Truckers Association from the north. This weekend protested in Jos, where they say that many of their members have been targeted and killed by suspected operatives of the IPOB, that is the Indigenous People of Biafra, in the southeastern part of the country. And they say this has continued unabated without the government intervening and doing the needful. The Arewa Consultative Forum has also added its voice to this particular call, saying that authorities need to step in and do the needful so that it does not destroy the fabric of the nation, where we continue to do business with one another across the 6 geopolitical regions in the country. Join us on the program from Sokoto via Zoom is Professor Tukur Mohammed Baba. He is the spokesperson of the Arewa Consultative Forum. Prof, as always, a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much. The name is Tukur Mohammed Baba, not Usman Mohammed Baba. Tukur Mohammed Baba, please. And it's my pleasure to join you today.
Apologies for that, Prof. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd just like to understand the position of the Arewa Consultative Forum a little clearer. Do you agree with some of these associations who say their members are specifically targeted? Why isn't this just another criminal activity by the proscribed IPOB members?
It is not a question of agreeing with them. It's a question of facts on the ground. This has been going on for some time. In fact, for the last 8 years, as members of NARTO and NARTU have pointed out, over the last 8 years, they have lost about 50 drivers. 50. We are talking of 50 human beings, not goats. And of course, 100 trailer trucks. This has been going on. We know it. And of course, it's not just the burning of vehicles. You know, we have seen videos circulating on social media by some groups in the southeast claiming they are members of the so-called Eastern Security Network, shooting cattle, for God's sake. It's obvious some of the burnt vehicles are displayed on social media by the same people that perpetrate the violence. So the drivers and the owners of those vehicles have been bearing the brunt silently. But then this is escalating. It's not going down. And it's something that should not happen at all. Citizens being attacked, killed, their corpses burnt by miscreants, by outlaws. This is unacceptable. That is another problem. We all pretend that it's not been happening because it's not affecting us directly. But it is happening, and the culture of silence over the problem is contributing to the escalation. So it's not a question of what agreeing with it's not an opinion, it's a fact. It's been happening and it cannot be denied.
Right. Prof, like I did say, I think the question was, why isn't this concern just about insecurity? Why specifically suggest that northerners are being targeted? Because we know of the activities of whether it's the ESN or the IPOB, they're killing their own in their region. So why isn't this just another insecurity related issue? Why does it have to look like the northerners are being specifically targeted?
Because okay, it's not a common insecurity issue. It is insecurity directed at a particular socio-cultural group. If it is happening to everybody, we will talk. And we've been talking about insecurity, but this particular phenomenon is a targeted insecurity. It's a targeted criminality. You know, of course, there are other aspects of it, but of course, these people have cried out. It's just that they should not be left alone. They should not be isolated. It's part of the general insecurity. But that does not mean we will not point out the specific pattern, the specific coloration that is assuming. No other part of the country, to the best of our knowledge, flying those roads are subjected to the kind of treatment that truck drivers from the north carrying food items, for God's sake, carrying animals for consumption, are targeted. To the best of our knowledge, no other socio-cultural sociocultural group is specifically targeted for extermination, as has been happening to members of the National Road Transport Workers Union plying those roads. Listen to their arguments. I'm sure you have video clips, which you are playing now from Plateau. It's obvious. We shouldn't deny it. We are not giving coloration, ethnic coloration. We are talking about socio-cultural characteristics. We are not talking about religion. In fact, as the members who protested in just pointed out, it's happening to everybody from the north. No religion, no tribe, anything. It's just any vehicle coming from the north carrying such goods are attacked. They are looted. They are burnt. The drivers are killed. Their corpses are burnt. In one very heart-rending narration I had, when the people called to say, we have killed your people, give us the corpse, they said, forget about it. For God's sake, how long are we going to continue pretending that all is well in this country? It's not. It's not a question of this thing. It's not justifying it. And it's not saying it only because it's happening to Northern. It's happened. We have spoken about terrorism. We have spoken about banditry. We have spoken against the abduction of school children without reference to any socio-cultural characteristics, such as religion, such as ethnicity, and so on. But this one sticks out for what it is, and let's not pretend.
Right. So the Arewa Consultative Forum is calling a spade and not necessarily trying to offer some sort of, sentimental or, diatribe about who is doing what and who is at the receiving end. But also speak to me, Prof, about the presence of northern communities across some of these southeastern states, right? Because we do business with one another. You have a large number of Igbo community here, Yoruba community in the north. You have the same thing over there. One would like to say that, the country is well blended in that area. Is this particular development, in your view, a threat to national unity?
It is a threat to national security. And we are not talking of just group of northerners undertaking business in specific locations in the southeast. We are talking of truck drivers in transit, carrying goods to and from the southeast. We are not talking of any communities. To the best of our knowledge, we don't have evidence that anybody is stopping them. And in fact, this is one of the reasons why we have to speak. Why is it happening to only truck drivers? Why isn't it happening to other business groups? And it's specific, it's direct. Let's attack it for what it is. Should they carry on business without flying the roads? Are we going to start flying tomatoes, vegetables, animals to the southeastern locations because we don't want to fly the road? I think we should get it clear. We are clear about the attack and killing and looting of truck drivers flying the road. In particular, two states, Enugu and Imo, and also parts of Anambra, have stood out in this. Let's be specific. We are not trying to ethnicize the problem. We are not trying to regionalize it. We are absolutely any Nigerian. And of course, if it's happening to any other person with this clear pattern, we are going to come out to speak against it in the interest of national security and cohesion.
Right. Okay. You clearly are calling on the relevant authorities, governments, state, and at federal level to do the needful to arrest and mitigate this concern. How exactly is the forum going about this? Are you just, sounding the alarm bells, or are you calling for some specific actions? Because as you do know, the Nigerian government is actually fighting the same people that have been fingered in this alleged attacks.
All we can do is raise awareness about it. All we can do is to protest. All we can do is to call attention and call for investigations. All we are saying as the government should stop this pattern. It's totally unacceptable. Otherwise, we're going to have to find alternatives of carrying goods to those parts of the country. And of course, this will have a direct impact on the consumer. We think the consumer is suffering enough. We have called, the members of those unions have said they will stop, if the attack continues, they will stop conveying goods. For God's sake, that is going to be a serious matter for both their business and for where they are taking those business to. It's not as if there is no alternative. They can stop at the border and ask anybody wanting to buy goods to come over, buy it, and go back. But that does not make for national unity. That doesn't make for cohesion. And the Constitution allows the freedom of movement, for God's sake, doing legitimate business. So what is the problem? The matter is straightforward. Stop killing those truck drivers. Stop burning their vehicles. Stop looting food items being carried by legitimate businessmen. These are not government goods. These are privately owned goods being carried by law-abiding Nigerians who want to transact business. And that's all. It's very straightforward. I don't see any complication in the matter and in what we're doing. The most we can do is to draw attention. The most we can do is to put pressure. The more we can do is to enlighten people. As we have said in our release, we are willing to engage with any group in order to exterminate this threat to national security. And we are calling on all people of goodwill, whether they are from the southeast, northeast, north central, north, anything southwest, to speak out against this clear pattern of intimidation and harassment.
Right. And Prof, just to pick you up on that particular point that you stated, right? We've been here before. In time past, we've seen some of these drivers form a cluster and say, listen, we're going to boycott taking our goods to this part of the country because it's not safe or because we believe we're